They say art and culture go hand in hand. This event seeks to show the various elements of artistry in Southeast Asia and beyond. We learn about ArtSG, a new global art fair kicking off next year, from founder Magnus Renfrew and fair director Shuyin Yang. Magnus, Shuyin, great to have you with us on The Final Word.
Great to be here, thank you.
All right, Magnus, let's start off with you. Your predecessors over the past decades have been like Art Singapore and Art Stage. How different is ArtSG from these other major art fairs that have been done in the past?
Well, this is a very different fair. We have, it's in fact the largest art fair launch in a decade. We have 165 galleries participating, and it's a truly global event. We've got galleries from 30 different countries, from New York, from London, Paris, Berlin, from Cape Town, from Mumbai, from Delhi, and from right across Asia. So it's a different scale of event, and the quality level is extremely high. It really compares very favorably with any art fair in the world.
Absolutely, and it will be held in January of 2023. Share with us, Shuyin, which particular Filipino galleries will be part of ArtSG in January?
I think what we're really pleased to be able to present is to put a spotlight on art from the Philippines. So we have 3 galleries from the Philippines participating: the Drawing Room, Art Informal, and Tropical Futures Institute. So these are already very well regarded within the Philippines, and we're delighted to be able to share them with a larger international audience. But in addition to these galleries, we also will be showing Filipino artists who are represented by Southeast Asian and international galleries as well.
And I'm sure our collectors who are watching us right now want to find out, Shuyin, who are these Filipino superstar artists or rising stars that will be exhibited in Singapore in January?
Just to give a teaser, the Drawing Room will be showing a solo show by Pam Yan Santos. We haven't seen new work from this artist in a long time, so this is going to be very exciting for
and
collectors.
Her husband is a very famous artist, Jose Santos III.
Jose Santos, another extremely sought-after artist as well. So this is going to be a major event for collectors of Filipino contemporary art.
And that's for Art Informal,
From
for Drawing Room. What about for Art Informal?
Art Informal will be showing 3 female artists, 2 young emerging names, Brisa Amir and Nice Buenaventura, and also a mid-career, very established name already, Elaine Navas, a fantastic painter who is actually based in Singapore.
What about Magnus? Which Southeast Asian superstar artist will be at the ArtSG exhibition?
We're going to have a real range. We're delighted that we're going to be having work by Pinari Sanapsak, who's a major female artist who has just been showing in the Venice Biennale, and we'll have some large-scale installations by her at the show, which we're very excited about.
So the venue is Marina Bay Sands in central Singapore. Will the works only be confined within the venue, or will other works, installation works, as you mentioned, Magnus, also be seen around the city-state?
Well, the fair itself will be confined to the convention centre. We've got 2 full floors. It's 30,000 square metres, so it's really building a temporary village for a few days. But Singapore will be coming alive with art and culture that week. There's a packed VIP programme for those that are going to be attending, but it's also part of Singapore Art Week, which has last year enjoyed its 10th edition. So there will be events going on right around the city. There'll be museum openings, gallery openings, and a lot of different events. So it'll be a very rich week.
Absolutely, rich week. I've attended a few of those art weeks in Singapore, having lived there for more than 2 decades. So Shuyin, tell us, what are collectors looking for right now in art pieces?
I think they're really looking for an experience. It can be an emotional experience, it can be something very special that gives them a bit of a surprise, but they want to be moved by the artwork. And I think by having this huge diversity of artwork on display, there are going to be thousands of artworks from senior artists right down to work that has been created especially for the fair. We think there's going to be something for everyone.
And of course,
really
when you're an art collector, it's also connection with the artwork, because the artworks that will be sold at ArtSG are not cheap.
Oh, I think, this is going to be a very pleasant surprise. When we say something for everyone, we also are, thinking in terms of accessibility price-wise. So there really will be a strong offering of new artists and also a special curation of artworks priced for the new art buyer as well.
Magnus, has the art market recovered from the pandemic, or the interest never waned?
Well, the interest never waned. I think in the early days of the pandemic, we were very concerned for our customer base, the galleries, that they would very much struggle. But the market has been remarkably resilient during the pandemic, and collectors have been really supporting the galleries and the artists that they believe in.
But Magnus, over the past several months, we have seen rising interest rates, higher inflation, and very, very weak Southeast Asian currencies against the US dollar. Won't this dampen the interest of art collectors in buying new art?
Well, we've been through difficult periods before, and certainly the art market isn't immune to external factors. But quite often in times of high inflation, art is regarded as something of a hedge, and blue chip art in particular has a good track record as a storer of value in such times.
And Shuyin, yesterday you and Magnus had a talk about ArtSG, inviting Filipino collectors. When you presented to them the galleries and the artists that will be showcased at ArtSG, was there excitement?
We had people booking their flights on the spot, so yes, I think so.
And the restaurants, the food
and
is
the
very
restaurants,
important,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, I think Singapore has so much to offer, not only the art, but also the hospitality, the food, the culture. So it's going to be a very complete, discovery for people.
And for Filipino collectors, from what I know, they just like collecting Filipino art. They don't go beyond their comfort zone, looking and buying Thai art or Indonesian art or Vietnamese art. Are they now starting to explore Southeast Asian art outside of Philippine art?
Yes, I think, they're exploring Southeast Asian art and also beyond, art from across Asia and also the West. I think there's a real hunger for discovery, especially post-pandemic. There's a rising generation of young collectors as well who are educated abroad and are very used to going to international museums. So that has affected their taste in collecting art. But also, in the opposite direction, what we are excited about is to showcase Filipino art alongside international art. So the collectors from the Philippines can see how the artwork locally stands alongside their peers internationally as well.
Yeah, you're talking about the peers, no? Because I know a lot of international collectors who have Vietnamese art, Thai art, and Indonesian art. They're very popular worldwide.
Yes.
How do we stack up now against these Southeast Asian art giants?
I think the Filipino artists are also equally giants among these other artists, but I think culturally and contextually there's so much to engage with, so it's a very good dialogue, and I think a lot of collectors like to expand their collection across Southeast Asia because they feel the artworks speak to each other.
Magnus, we also see a lot of artworks right now in local art auctions. Here in the Philippines, you have two big ones like Leon Art Gallery and Salcedo Auctions versus the Christie's and the Sotheby's. Don't you think there's an oversupply of art out there, and collectors would just rather buy masterpieces from modern and contemporary artists through the auction route rather than buy new art from an art fair like ArtSG?
I think art fairs really provide a great opportunity for people to see a very broad range of work at a variety of different price points and from different geographies. I think it's a great place to be able to share information also. Collectors love to hunt in packs and to exchange notes. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity really for us to help collectors forge relationships with each other from different geographies as well, and to compare notes.
And invite us once again, our viewers, art collectors, to ArtSG in Singapore in 2023, Shuyin.
Yes, so we hope all the viewers will be able to join us in Singapore, 12th to 15th January at the Marina Bay Sands Expo and Convention Center for Asia's biggest art fair launch in a decade.
And of course, it's not just in Singapore, right? You also have art fairs around the region.
That's right, yeah. So the ArtSG is organised by the Art Assembly, which has fairs in 6 different locations across the Asia Pacific. So we have fairs in Delhi, in Sydney, in Shanghai, in Taipei, which is a very important market. We're launching in Tokyo in July next year, and of course ArtSG is the next on the list, so that's coming up in January.
ArtSG founder Magnus Renfrew and fair director Shuyin Yang, thank you so much to both of you for joining us on The Final Word.
Thank you.
Thank you.